I was born in Henry County at home. My mother did not go to the hospital. I was born at home.
I was born in Hampton, pretty close to City Park, and back in 1929.
I grew up and still in Henry County. We lived in a little log house there. Daddy farmed, but I didn't have to go to the field because I wasn't old enough.
I think when I was born in 29, that's 1931. The Depression came, and that's why we moved out there when I was about 3 years old, and we lived in that one house, a old farmhouse, and Daddy, he let us do the farming, and three of us boys together. One of us born in 1928, one 29, and one 30, so I was the middle one. We'd fight a lot, and my dad said he didn't mind us getting skinned up too much, just don't tear the clothes up because it cost him too much to buy them.
When I graduated, Daddy had just had cancer, and we didn't have any money, for anything. And the Grady Floyd's family, he had got killed, and they gave me money to put on my flowers for graduation, because we had to have roses. And after I used those roses, I carried them and put them on his grave. We would walk on Sunday morning and go down to the Methodist Church in Lovejoy. And then, I guess after we got a car, Daddy and them got a car, we started going to Liberty Hill.
My grandmother, my dad's mom, they was really strict in going to church at Hampton Baptist Church. And we would go out there with them. Daddy didn't really make us, but he told us we should. He let us ride.
We were just, I guess, teenagers. We'd go to revival, to church at Liberty Hill. And a bunch of us would go and, and sit together, and we just had a good time. During one of the revivals, I accepted the Lord, and then I was baptized in 1948.
Then Preacher Tarleton came, and he invited
Earl Peacock.
And that's when I was saved. The Lord called me to be saved then.
I guess 15 or 20 people was baptized at the same time. We was baptized in Carl Parker Pond. Well, I saw him at church, and but way back when I was in high school, he would go visit friends that I knew at school, and they'd come to school. Jimmy and Johnny and them came over, and I guess, I just got to know him through them, and then when we, went to church together.
She invited me up to come up to the party, and that's how we really started going together that night. She said, I'll give you I said, would you give me a date? She said, yeah. So we started dating then.
He would come up on Sunday, and we'd ride down to his house and walk around down in the pasture. And he'd come pick me up at work.
Every Sunday.
And we'd stop at Dean's Barbecue, and they always would probably know what we wanted. They had people that would come out to the car and wait on you. And we'd get a barbecue sandwich, and I wanted a grape drink, and
I just get a Pepsi.
And a pack of chewing gum, so I'd have some chewing gum at church the next day. Ruby Cook was our Sunday school teacher, and we'd go there and have parties. Maybe we'd take something. And also we had parties down at Miss Holloway's. We played Spin the Bottle. You'd take a Coca-Cola bottle and you'd spin it, and whoever it landed on, you'd either go walk with them, whatever you wanted to do.
She knew about every day I was going to be there every night. I'd go to work that day, and when that construction work, as soon as I got home, I'd be right back up there, and Bobby would eat with them.
Yeah.
About every night. They'd say, well, Jimmy, be here a little bit. And they had the old saying, your mother-in-law to be, you have to look out in the back door because you don't throw the dishwasher in the face, because you're going to be there every night. She had a set where you had the parlor line. courting time, they had a special room we could sit in there and talk. We didn't have to go off, we just sit in there and talk. My uncle, I told him, I said, I want to ask Betty to marry me and see what she said. And he said, well, you ain't got no ring. I said, no, I sure not do. Just to talking like that. And he said, you know, let's go to Atlanta and get one. And I said, let's do that. So that Saturday night, we stopped at Denny Barbecue and we was eating. I asked, I said, could I go ahead and give you the ring tonight and be engaged, and would you marry me? And she said yes. So I gave it to her and she put it on, and that's how we got engaged. So I went to church that Sunday and none of them, any of them was there. So I said, give Betty the ring to be engaged, and it was late when we come in, so she told them about it and nobody come to church. So I went up there right fast as I could after church. So they were sitting around just as quiet, you know. And
Mama was cooking.
She was cooking, so I went back in. Me and her mom got along good. And I said, Miss Floyd, what do you think about me and Betty? Just, you know, just break it in sort of. She said, what now? I think about what? I said, I mean, Miss Floyd, about me and Betty getting married. She said, I hope not now. I said, oh no ma'am, I'll go in the service between now and then before we get married. And I said, we ain't set no date, just engaged, okay? She said, well, I guess it'll be all right.
I don't know. I guess it's just a feeling that you have that you want to live with somebody the rest of your life, because then you thought when you married, Mom and them said if you make your bed hard, you got to sleep in it. So we knew that, you know, we wasn't going to divorce or wasn't going to part, because that was just a thing that you didn't do then.
And when we stopped going to parties, you know, getting around other people, and I didn't want nobody to be walking down the road with her, I said, no way. So then I knew then we got closer and closer to in love with each other, and then that, you know, then that's the one. You don't, nobody be looking at her mostly. Don't even look at her. You just don't want nobody else to be bothering your girl, you know.
We had just a home wedding. That morning, I went down by the railroad and gathered up some wildflowers, and I think it was sweet peas or something, and decorated the mantelpiece with those wildflowers. I had a navy dress with pink flowers in it. That's what I wore, and Jimmy, I suppose, wore a blue suit. My sister, Sister Mildred and Johnny were witnesses. You had to have somebody to stand up with you. Johnny he was always close to me, and whatever I needed, he would see that I got it. He's always been very, you know, good to both of us. And Mick too. Mick's really one of my best friends. Then we had the ceremony performed. Preacher Thompson did it. Then Johnny and Mick carried us on our honeymoon.
I think they excited so us getting married till her sister says, we'll just carry y'all out on you. And we went above Atlanta, and we just had
we went to Smyrna and spent the night. That was a big deal.
Sunday morning, and Sunday, Mom and Dad and
June was a baby.
Yeah.
They came up and had lunch at the house.
Spread lunch out in the backyard and had a family get together.
Mm-hmm. And Jimmy went to work, and my mama and Claudine came up and stayed with us with me that day.
Keep her company.
And when they went home, I cried from the time they went home till he come home from work, because I was scared in that house, because they told me it was a haunted house. And we moved out and moved down in the house with Mr. Arthur Wynn and Miss Carrie Lou. And we lived there till after Cheryl was born.
Moved in 1955.
Yeah, and then after then we moved to Hampton. And we thought we was in heaven, I reckon, to get to move into a house in Hampton.
Bought us a home down there, and somebody, oh, Jimmy and Betty can't do that.
Right.
Jimmy works Southern States, and he just makes 68 cents an hour.
But we bought a new car. We bought a '56 Chevrolet.
Yeah.
and we paid for that, and we paid for the house, and then we moved on North Avenue, and that's really when they said we couldn't make it there.
65, yeah.
They said ain't no way they can afford that house, but we did.